What's up, everybody? We're wrapping down the year. I'm getting adjusted. That countdown was way too short. Just got back from a workout, and yeah, let's wrap up. We've only got a few more episodes of the year, and then I've got a couple episodes in January already recorded because I pushed some things back. Very excited. It's a different position right now because I am. And I'll, like I said, I'll post some updates on the new studio. I just want to do that really fast and weird and annoying um, because I've moved some things around. The other day, I got this little small bookshelf that I've been wanting for a while, so I could remove some books off of here and kind of line them up on the bookshelf, and I can start to redo what's behind me right now. And then I've got half this wall that you can't see on eggshells. So we're moving some things around. We got some better lighting coming in. I like what's happening now, but we got some better lighting coming in. And yeah, it's going to be fun for the new year. Really kind of amp up the show because I feel like it's been good. The topics have been good. And I'm not just saying that because it's my show. I know when I suck. But the topics have been good, but I need better sound. And there's a couple other things. So it's time. It has been time. It's long overdue rolling into 2026. So, because the winter is the best time of year for my show. And I think for podcasting in general, um, I've seen it since I started this. It's like winter skyrockets and then summertime it dips, kind of plateaus. Kids get out of school and it's this, and then it kind of peaks up in the dog days of summer and then goes right into fall. And it genuinely happens. It's weird. I could show you the data. But I want to talk about as we get ready for holidays. By the way, I'm wearing I don't know, I can't lift my leg that high. Nah, I'm not going to. I can. No, I can't. I'm wearing, these have a date on them. I'm wearing my Santa Claus pajamas right now, or bottoms, to be comfortable because I'm off today. Um, that chair is squeaky. Got a new chair coming. Anyway, um, comfortable chair. But I was out of town a couple weeks ago, back in the groove with work. Work's been we're gonna rock the year out with that, and then now I want to talk about kind of it's kind of going back to the holiday parties. And this topic came up. I was talking to a friend of mine, and she was talking about she was getting ready to go out to lunch with somebody, and she bailed. Okay. It was her idea to do it, and she bailed. And she said she just bailed because she didn't have the energy. The topic at the time was good, or the idea at the time was good. There's a reflection right there. I forgot that I moved that. See that trophy? It's pretty awesome. But anyway, and that's my saber to wine bottles or champagne bottles. Should have never given me that. But anyway, we're going to leave that reflection there. And maybe I'll just adjust so you guys won't be annoyed. I don't care. I move around too much. So she bailed on this. And this is a friend of hers that she's hanging out for a while with him. You know what I mean? It's not like this is some new situation. Um, she knows him, known him for a long time. They're good friends. Well, she bailed. She didn't have the energy to deal with it. She didn't have what is the words that she used? Not the mental capacity. She didn't have, she had to prepare herself for it or something like that. I wish I could remember the exact words because it made sense, like prep herself, be in the right mindset, all those things. And so I'm like, why'd you have to be in the right mindset to go to lunch that you planned? There's other factors at play with the person she was going to see. So she kind of knew it wasn't just a lunch. Not a relationship thing with her and this person, just the topics of conversations were going to be not exactly. What am I vibrating? My iPad's vibrating. It was going to be a different conversation that she wasn't ready. So she bailed, whatever. She's going to go out to lunch with him again. Obviously, they're buddies. So that's the thing. But it got me thinking, like, why do we have to mentally prepare ourselves to go out, especially to something that we did? And I brought it up in not a negative way, and I brought it up in not a like, hey, you suck. Why do you have to do that? Because I get it, and it's not an introvert or extrovert thing. I believe that I'm an extrovert. But I also believe that in years, as I've gotten older and changed, um, the way I think, the way I hang out, and all that, and what I do with my free time, that I think I'm selectively extroverted, and but I think overall that's where I lean, and I think I'm selectively introverted. Now, all my life, my jobs, and I'm talking jobs I get paid for, not the side gigs and the hustles. I'm talking about legitimate jobs since way, 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 way back, like 30 years ago. Whew, probably 32 years ago. When I got my first job, it didn't matter where it was. It was always a situation of being in the public eye and having to be social, having to be welcoming, having to deal with people. It wasn't behind a desk at a computer. And I'm not saying that all the times that you're behind a desk, you don't have to have a certain aspect of socialness, social awareness, and, put on that face and water cooler talk and coffee talk and all that. But when you're in the public eye, whether that be bartending, running nightclubs, um, God, even when I was writing for that publication, even when I was writing for Movie Web, by the way, they suck. Even when I was doing all those things, I was still in the public eye. My, sales, public, everything I did was your social. And God, even, I mean, the bars, restaurants, and nightclubs were the most exhausting. And I'm not talking about the late hours. That was exhausting, but I was used to it. That's what I did. I was built that way. And I was talking about the shaking hands, kissing babies, smiling, being aware that everybody around you is out there to get the money. So you're also watching that. You're making sure nobody's trying to steal from you legitimately and behind the scenes. And also having to talk to customers and VIPs that I did not like, that really they were everything wrong with the world, but I wanted their money. And it's part of the service industry. It's part of the experience when you're at a club, when you're paying $300 a bottle for a Grey Goose at the time, when you're paying, 1,000, well, 800 and something dollars for a bottle of Dom. Actually, I think it was closer to 1,000. When, you know what I mean? Like those sort of things. Or even when you were down at one of my favorite bars that I ever worked at, and it was this little small tiny bar, and I built it up to what it was, so much so that the owner got to sell it. Um, you still were on, and you could have an off day, and the customers that knew you, the customers that the regulars or your even your regular vendors knew you were having an off day, you still had to be on, but they would put up with it. But you had to be the ringleader and the circus leader and shine for everybody else. By the time I got home, I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to even be normal, Brandon, if those words go together. I didn't want to be a social person. It was hard too at the time, especially in relationships or when I was married. You know, that I wanted to just have that little hub, that little, igloo of family, and I could be social with them. It was hard for the relationships or marriage at the time because they would want to go out. Not all the time, but they would want to go out. And I was like, oh, I don't want to go to a restaurant. I don't want to go to a bar. I don't want to go to a party, a concert. And I found myself, building it up, being like, all right, let's go. But I also put parameters around that. Like, hey, let's not go to this city because inevitably I'm going to run into somebody I know. We went to a hole in the wall. I'll never forget this story because it gets brought up. We went to this hole in the wall bar down in Deep Ellum. And for those of you that don't know Deep Ellum, it's pretty much an entertainment district, crime ridden crack house, crack street now. But the arts and the food and you know, it's something that needs to be cleaned out and redone without losing the appeal, and that typically doesn't happen. It either goes to complete dump, or they gut everything and it's corporate high rises and bougie teas. That's what happens, right? Um, So we went to this place, and I'm not going to say the name of it. I don't even think it's there anymore, actually. Phenomenal place, great food. And I was like, let's go get something to eat. We just had a few drinks. Let's go get something to eat before we go check this out. We walk into the place. I'm living in Frisco. I put this in perspective. Frisco is about 50 minutes from Deep Ellum. And that's probably an under exaggeration based on the ridiculousness of traffic here. So it's not like I'm there all the time. And it's not like I am hanging out at this place on a regular basis. This just happened to be one of those moments where I was off. So I went, we walk in, and I'm not kidding, walk in the door. My wife at the time walks in the door. I walk in the door. Brandon, what's up? I look to my right. Two people that were regulars, craft beer fiends that I've known for like 2 years are there at the table. And she's like, how? Like, how? Because she knew what was about to happen. I had to do the engage. Hi, what's up? Had to do the engaging talk for a few minutes. Then he goes and introduced me to the bartender. Then he introduced me to the chef. Then he introduced me to the band. And now I'm talking, and now there's shots coming. And she's like, dude, I can't go anywhere. Because that was as big of the social aspect as I was in that industry. Again, I wasn't prepared for that, but it comes natural. It's part of who I am. Turn it on, boom. Inside, I'm exhausted. Mentally, I'm exhausted. Well, now that I've gotten older and, your group of friends just naturally, for the most part, shrinks for falling outs, for moving, for just life. I have my son. He's going to take top priority over everybody, period. Even myself, which is what it should be. And I know people are like, dude, you got to take care of yourself. That's not what I'm saying. He is going to take top priority. And yes, sometimes, most recently, I've had a day where I was off and I didn't have him. A little bit of dad guilt came into play, but I needed that rest. I needed that shutdown. I needed that recoup because I knew what was coming. And that benefits him. So that as I've gotten older, I understand that. I'm more selective on what I do. I'm more selective on who I talk to. I'm more selective on what I do on my phone. If I'm picking up the text messages, if I'm answering that, it's very hard because I'm like, rapid fire. I want to respond. I'm now pulling away, even from people that I like. And I don't mean this in a bad way. I'm just not going to talk right now. I'm filling the reservoir back up. I'm filling my backup tanks of social media, or not social media, of socializing back up. So I understand why you would want to cancel. The question is, though, how did it get that way? And I don't think it's that way for everybody, but I think it's that way for more people than most lead on. Even younger people than me. I think it is. I think they push through because they feel like they have to. I think the biggest difference between me at 47 and me at 21, besides looking better and being in better shape, and I honestly had more money. It's as funny as that sounds. I was making more and I made good money. So there you go. There's that. It's a lot of cash involved. But I think the biggest difference is if I was to bail on a Friday night in my 20s, Thursday night happy hour, hump day, wind down Wednesdays, a brunch after I just worked till 4 a.m. and they want to go to brunch at 8. If I was to bail on that consistently more than once without being really sick, without going on a date, without being out of town, anything like that, it would be looked at very weird. It would be talked about. And I would feel very worried, even though in my gut, and maybe mentally I was tired. I don't feel like it. I'm kind of broke. I would push myself to go because I felt like I had to. The biggest difference now is I don't feel like I have to. It's not a matter, and let's take the want aspect of it. I don't feel like I need to. I have zero to prove to anybody. Period. And my friends might get annoyed, and we'll talk about that in a minute, but I don't I don't need to make excuses to tell you why I don't want to go anywhere anymore. I'm just going to say no. Nah, I'm good, man. Why? I'm tired. I want to go home. It's not an excuse. That's what's legit. It's the middle of holiday season. I'm busy. I got to wrap Christmas presents while Luke's at school. I got to get things ready. I'm conserving my money. Like, well, we're just going to go for one drink. Okay, well, I'm 47. I know what just one drink is. I can do that. But I can go and have a drink and chill, but the social aspect, that part in the back of my head, like Stranger Things moments, is going to make me want to at least hang out and talk. And I have forced myself to go to things because I realize now I might just being rude because these people have invited me multiple times and I do like them and I do enjoy my time with them. I need to get out of my house. And I think that's also the balance at this stage in your life, whether you're 47, 27, 30, whatever that may be, kids, no kids, married, whatever. I think the biggest thing that you can do for your social battery, for your prep, is to realize you don't need to lie to make an excuse and also realize it doesn't matter. Because if somebody gets mad at you and doesn't want to talk to you anymore for not going out or for bailing on them, or for, man, every time we try to do something with Brandon, something comes up. And I'll be honest with you, that has happened to several individuals that I genuinely like a lot. And at big moments in their life, things have come, like, it's come up for me that I have no control over. And it's not a matter of, oh, I got to pick up Luke. I'm talking like detrimental things that I've had to bail on. And it sucks. So I get why they're anticipating me to bail all the time because the cloud of disaster is around me whenever they plan stuff. So it's easier for me just to say, no, I'm not going. Um, or, you know what? I'm going to be a last minute person. And I think that's the other thing. We have a lot of events at work. And we are like, one of the coolest things about my job is the amount of outside events we have, from educational wine dinners to brewery tours to meet the winemaker to this, that, to happy hours. Like, really cool things that are beneficial for my education and my business, are beneficial for networking, finding out good deals about events, getting ground, like getting information and first hand experience with new items hitting the market before they hit the market. Like, very cool. Problem is, they happen all the time. All the time. There has been moments where it's like one a week for a month. This one's in, Grapevine. This one's in Frisco. This one's in Plano. This one's at the same place we were the night before. Number one, I don't want to do that. Okay. I think it's aggressive. I think it's also a waste of money from the people that are putting it on. I think at that point it just doesn't become as special. And the other thing is, I'm going to go work during the day, then get off and probably come straight from work for this dinner for 3 hours, 2 hours, whatever. Then go home, then shower, then get ready. Like, it's extra work that, no, I'm not getting paid for because I can drink. If I was on the clock, I wouldn't be able to drink, right? Um, if I could drink, I'm still not going to drink all the time, but if I was on the clock, you might be more inclined to go and I'd have to swish and spit. That's a policy. That's fine. But then also, like, then do I have to cut my hours short in my department to make up for the hours, or are you going to pay me overtime? You see what I'm saying? So, like, I pick and choose what I go to. They just did one. It blows my mind. There is one, like, a week before Christmas. We were told there wasn't going to be one, and now there's like, hey guys, we're doing this wine dinner. Why? So, a week before Christmas, there's too much to do. I don't want to talk. I don't want to be pitched. I don't want to see anybody. I want to be in my department and I want to end the year. I'm not prepared for that. It's not anything that excites. So I know that I'm just saying no right off the bat. But other times I will say, maybe. And then as it gets to be a day or two before, I'll look at what I have going on, maybe 3 days before. I'll look at what I have going on, unless I have to be there, like it's an event I'm doing or something. I'll look at what's going on and I'll say, okay, I don't have Luke. I'm off the next day. So then I don't pick up Luke till after school. I don't have him tonight. Where's it at? Number one. Number two, who's doing it? If it's somebody I've been around a bunch of times, no offense, I'm going to skip. But if it's somebody I'm like, you know what? I'd like to dive into this and talk to these people and learn about this and whatever. And it's a good restaurant. I don't have to cook dinner. I'm going to go. Which is why I say last minute. I'm last minute in a lot of social things too. Because I don't know what mood I'm going to be in. And I don't mean that as in like, am I in a good mood or bad mood? I just mean like, what if I go to work all day and it's one of those days? And people are like, well, wouldn't you want to go out afterwards to relax? No, I want to go home to relax, to be away from people. That's all I want to do. It's like that with parties. And I've done that where I plan parties and I'm like, and that's where I think we have that balance where we have to know you need to go. You need to do this because it will change that mindset. It's like if you're in a bad mood, whenever I'm in like a really bad, funky mood and or just awful, I try, some of you will disagree. I try to be like nice to people, overly nice, not in a cheesy, be nice, fake, smile, corporate sort of way, but be nice. Maybe I'll go buy somebody a coffee because it puts me in a mindset of not embracing the darkness and my mood and the anger and the frustration. You know what I mean? So I think that that's a way to go. It's the same scenario if, man, you said you were going, dude. It's the day of, go. Even if you know you're going to enjoy yourself, sometimes you get so used to saying no and not doing things that you've conditioned yourself. You've conditioned your body. You conditioned your brain to say, this is my safe space. But then you complain that you never do anything and that nobody texts you. And that's the balance that we have to have. So it's not about preparing yourself to go. Because if you have to prepare yourself, and I'm not bashing my friend for this, I'm just talking in general. If you have to prepare yourself, I get preparing yourself to go to work. I get it. I get preparing yourself to go to a school function or a meeting, or maybe you got to go to your significant other's family side. I get it. I get preparing yourself for the holidays, what you have to do. But I'm talking about if you got to prepare yourself to go meet your friends for happy hour, what's going on here? I think it's time to like maybe reevaluate who your friends are or maybe reevaluate what you're doing. If it's the art of, I just don't want to go to happy hour, then maybe you should suggest something else. And if that's all they want to do, then maybe you guys are doing one of these and you need to only hang out with them when you're ready to go to happy hour. And there's nothing wrong with that. If you got a buddy and all you guys do is watch football together and you're like, hey man, why don't we go get some people and go to this bar and go play some pool? Nah, man, the game's on. We're at a bar, so they'll have a TV. Nah, man, let's just get together at my house. Maybe you talk to them after football season. It doesn't mean you write them off, but maybe instead of forcing yourself to do something you don't want to do, you talk to them after football season. Stop coming up with excuses and stop having to put yourself in this position to where you got to hype yourself up to do things that genuinely should be fun. Just accept the fact that you want to do it and say, nah, man, I'm good. I don't want to watch the game tonight. I'll catch you next time. Done. And if they get butthurt about it and they don't understand it, well, that is their problem to work out, not yours. It is your social battery. It is your mental health. It is your life to be able to figure out what you want to do. You don't have to do things. You're not 20 anymore to where you feel like, and if you are 20, guess what? I'm telling you now, you can say no because there's going to be another Friday night. There's going to be another bar tab. There's going to be another concert. There's going to be another club. What are you going to miss? It's not FOMO. What am I going to miss at the club? Same thing that happened last week. Nothing. Overpriced drinks, lots of dance, lots of groping, good music, sweaty, large bill, go home hungover. That's what you're going to miss. Nothing wrong with that, but that's what you're going to miss. Maybe you take a guy home, maybe you take a girl home, maybe you go home, maybe you go with somebody. I don't know. But it's not FOMO. Who cares about missing out? Man, I want to miss out more because I realize that not all of it is important. Not all of it is deep. Not all of it is something that we need to be there for. It's just the way it is. I'm looking at my bookshelf right now and I'm like, I'm reading a book. I'm almost done with it because I got to get it done before Christmas. It's that Christmas lore book that I got. It's really cool. It's not long or anything, but I was like, you know what? I'm making time to read that tonight. Could I call somebody, text somebody to come over? Maybe. Do I want to? No. The other thing, too, is who's going to be there? I understand that most of us are adults, or we attempt to be, and sometimes you have to go to things where maybe you don't know anybody, or maybe you don't really like everybody. I'm at the stage in my life, and I wish I would have learned this earlier, and I did it earlier at times, but I'm at a stage in my life where if I don't really like the vibe, why do I have to submerge myself in the vibe? You know, I got a buddy who's putting together a party, a Christmas party. Good people, man. I don't hang out with them enough. Life, we're two different lives, you know. Just awesome, awesome person. I genuinely care about him, his wife. I give a crap. The idea of them putting this Christmas party, I see this like Friendsgiving Christmas moment, hang out, eat, have some good food, open up some expensive bottles, like just have fun in our ugly Christmas sweaters or pajamas and shoot the breeze. It does sound nice because I'm not hosting it. I got to bring a side or something, but I'm not hosting it. Sounds nice. And I'm going to say this, and some of the guests are going to listen to this and think I'm talking about them, and I'm not. And then if some of the guests listen to this and think I'm talking about them and they're right, you have to understand where I'm coming from. The guest list, the several people besides the host that are coming, there's like two that I'm like, cool, yes. One bailed, so now there's one. There's a bunch of question marks. And then the people that are coming, I'm going to have to put it on for them. And inevitably they're kind of connected. Some of them are connected to my job, and so inevitably the job talk's going to come up, and I don't want to do that after I've worked all day. And I don't want to put it on. And now I got to watch what I say about certain things because it's not a trust issue. It's just I can't be relaxed and have my guard down the whole time. And people are like, why not, Brandon? Well, the reason is because if I'm in that mode of relaxed and I'm in my comfort zone, I'm in my trust circle, my circle of trust, holding the speaking stick, and I say things about work or I say things about people that I want to say because I'm in my trust, that's okay. But I don't know several of these people. Well, Brandon, just watch your mouth and just you can't. Okay, well, then I can't relax after a long day at work in my busy season. Why am I being forced to be somebody who I'm not? You're putting parameters as if I'm at my job. It's not against these people. It's just they're not in my circle. They're not people I hang with. They're not people I would ever hang with. It's not. I'm not being a jerk. I mean, I like them. If I ran into them at a bar, we'd have a drink, but I'm not going to genuinely go to a place and hang out. I need to fix this. I feel puffy. Actually, it's getting a little better. But taking this liver detox, which, look at that. That's like, you guys want to rub my face and see how flat it is? It's nice. But I don't like the puffiness right here. Could just be because I'm tired. Anyway. Um, And I'm not taking a liver detox because I drink a lot. Let's be real. I drank in Michigan probably 3 times and haven't since I've been back. So, and I'm probably getting ready to take a long hiatus again, to be honest. So I'm in this quagmire, this weird realm of, do I go for an hour just to make an appearance and leave? Or is that hour going to turn into 2 hours? Or is going to be a 2.5 hour from the drive there, hang out, drive back after a 9 hour day at work and a long weekend at work? I know myself, and I should not have to feel guilty about, like, dude, I don't want to go. And I shouldn't have to feel guilty about telling them, hey man, these aren't people I want to hang with, dude. I'm not that person. I'm a very, I can do it, especially like the work thing. Hey, we're all going up to Tups, and there's like 10, beer and wine managers there. Cool. Because I'm in my environment to roam and whatever, and that's a different vibe. An intimate Christmas hang with people that I'm not really into and a couple that I really care about doesn't sound fun to me. So I'm like, okay, I think because I care about these people, I'll go show up, I'll have a glass of wine, I'll say bada bing, bada boom, and I'll leave. And I did my part. But we got to stop feeling like we have to go. And we got to stop feeling like we have to go, look, man, I got to go out tomorrow. I'm just going to chill tonight. I don't want to talk to anybody. And start dreading a day before because you really don't want to. Just say you don't want to. You don't have to. I'm trying to figure out where the obligation is. Because you know what? Nobody sits there and says, oh, Brandon invited me. I have to go. When I do stuff, and I'm not mad about it. There's the several core people that always show up and we have a blast. And I don't do it often. And I like sharing those moments with him and like, with him. Well, stop it. With those people, you know what I mean? With my group of guys. And then like the two girls that show up occasionally. I like it. They're important. And if they have something, I'm going to try to make it to what they do because they never have anything. And because I'm like, you know what? It's kind of like the Christmas party situation. I care about these people. Let me support them by showing up to what's important to them. That's okay. The other side of it is if you don't want to do it, don't do it. I'm not understanding this. Oh, I got to go to this party. Why? I just kicked my table. Why do you got to go? Because my buddy invited me. Okay, I'm still trying. Is he handing out $100 bills? Look, I got a work function that I don't want to go to. I'm not understanding why we have to have a work leadership management Christmas party. Make my present early by me not seeing you any more than I have to. Some of those guys are great. Some of those I just work with and we're having fun, but we don't have to do this. We could just come in, do our job. I don't have to like you. You don't have to like me. We can be cordial. We can talk. We can get the business done for the business, but I don't got to go pretend and smile and have cheer and, oh yeah, great. Thank you. I don't have to do that. Why should I have to do that? And that's not an insult. I think it's great that this company does stuff like that. And I know people are like, well, at certain jobs, you just have to have certain obligations. This is not an obligation. It's my day off. Are you going to pay me for this? If you're not going to pay me for this on my day off, you are taking my day off away from me. I just don't get it. If you're going to pay me for this, then okay, that means there's no drinking involved. Fine. Then I'm going to go sit for 2 hours at lunch and I'm going to leave. There's got to be a balance. And I don't mean that in a disrespectful way to anybody that's putting together these parties. I'm just saying, it's 2 weeks before Christmas. You're trying to take me out of my department and also now out of my day off. And I got things to do. Doesn't make sense. We have to learn to say no. Well, there could be repercussions if you don't go. Okay, so now nobody said that to me. Let's make that clear. But I've heard that in other conversations with people at other companies. Well, if I don't go, it'll look bad. Why? Why will it look bad? Well, it shows you're not a team player. Or it shows I'm off. Or it shows that I'm off at home with my family, which is more important than this job. During the Christmas season, holiday season, Hanukkah, which is not started yet, I don't believe. No, it hasn't. Kwanzaa, just in general, forget it. Let's say you don't celebrate any holidays. You're just off. You care about my mental capacity. You care about my well-being. You care about this work-life balance. Why are you shoving extracurricular activities on me on my day off? Well, it'll be fun. Why? Because I like 2 to 3 people that are going. The rest I'm indifferent. Well, maybe you'll get to know people. I don't want to get to know anybody. I know them already. I see them for 40 hours a week, sometimes 50. I see them. We handle our business. But people feel forced to go to these things. But you just got to stop, guys, especially this time of year, because you're going to get invited to all kinds of stuff. And it's okay to say no, and you don't have to make an excuse. You can literally say, you know what, man, I've been working a lot. I was supposed to work yesterday. I'm too beat. Can we reschedule? My bad. Then you got an opportunity to reschedule. Then you're honest. And if they don't reschedule, if they don't understand, they don't understand. Just flip them off the list. Seriously. And it's not about being mean. It's almost like, yeah, I want to be invited, but I don't want to go. But I also don't know if I want to be invited. I feel like you saved me a lot. Like, I feel like people need to know what I like and what I don't like. You know what? Let's invite Brandon to this. He'll definitely go to this. Cool. And then you'll have the best version of me. Don't invite me to something a Monday before Christmas. Be like, hey, we're going to do this. Shut up. Get out of my face. I might go in January. And in January, I might not go. I don't know. But I think that as we get older, though, we do have to, and it's not even getting older. I think like I said, it should start when we're younger. We have to set definitive boundaries on if we're going to do this stuff or not and why. Not that we're forced to go. Just are we going to go? That's important. Anyway, guys, I'm going to go. I have things to do. So I'll see you next week. We've got 2 more episodes of the 2025 season. One of them drops on New Year's, which is crazy. And the other one drops on Christmas Eve. Wait, is that right? 3 more episodes. My bad. So we got one dropping next week. We got one dropping on the eve. We got one dropping on the eve. And then we'll be in 2026. So hold on. The timeline's getting weird. Until next time.